The Isle of Arran is a small island on the west coast of Scotland, situated between the Ayrshire coast to the east and the Mull of Kintyre to the west. Arran is well known as a popular island destination for tourists throughout the UK and is often referred to as Scotland in miniature due to its similar geographic layout, with highlands to the south and Highland Mountains in the north. On the 15th of July 1889, two men, John Laurie and Edwin Rose, would climb Goatfell, the tallest mountain peak on the island, but only one man, John Laurie, would make it back down. 3 weeks would pass before Rose's badly mutilated body would be found hidden under a large boulder in Corrie-Numferran on the south side of Glen Sannox. Soon afterwards, a large manhunt ensued as the authorities scrambled to find John Laurie, who had by this time fled from Glasgow. The diary of the case states that the two men had met aboard the ship Iona, which was heading to Arran from the nearby Isle of Bute. John Laurie had been residing in a guest house on Bute, but had left his name as John Annandale. The two men had struck up a friendship as they were both on a summer holiday, Laurie coming from Glasgow and Rose from London. On Monday the 15th of July, both men were seen climbing Goatfell and were seen at the summit by several witnesses around 6:20 p.m. John Laurie was later seen that evening around 10 p.m. in the bar of the Corrie Hotel before leaving, presumably for Brodick, the main village on the island. The next morning, Laurie was seen on the 7 a.m. ferry and train heading for Greenock, and had left his boarding house with an unpaid bill. While on his journey, he was seen to have in his possession a striped jacket belonging to Edwin Rose, and, over the next few days, an investigation began into Rose's disappearance, as he had not returned to his home in London. Edwin Rose's body was discovered on the 4th of August, face down under a large boulder and hidden by many stones. It was a grisly sight, with Rose's skull broken and his face decayed. One of his shoulders was broken, his upper vertebrae was detached and his ribs were broken. The next morning, his cause of death was determined by the local MD to be the result of many violent blows to the head, and later that afternoon, his body was buried in Sannox. The next day, on the 6th of August, John Laurie was identified in London, and on August the 10th, he would write a letter to the North British Daily Mail newspaper and implied that his intentions were to commit suicide. He wrote that, quote, "Rose and I went to the top of Goatfell, where I left him in the company of two men who came from Loch Ranza and were going to Brodick. I went down to Corrie and met some friends, and we afterwards visited the hotel where we met several of the gentlemen who were camping out, and I left for Brodick about 10. I could easily prove that what I say is true, but I declined to bring the names of my friends into this disgraceful affair, so will content myself by wishing them a last adieu." On the 3rd of September, back in Scotland, John Laurie was seen attempting to board a train in Hamilton, and after being chased to a local wood, was apprehended by authorities. In the frenzy, he attempted to cut his throat with a razor, but failed and was arrested. Upon his appearance in an Edinburgh courthouse, Laurie admitted to robbing Edwin Rose, but denied killing him. Giving a false name, fleeing the scene of the crime, and resisting arrest weren't exactly the actions of an innocent man, and the situation wasn't looking great for John Laurie. In the end, he was sentenced to life imprisonment after he was ruled to be of unsound mind. But was John Laurie actually guilty? All of the evidence in the case is entirely circumstantial. There is no direct evidence such as blood on Laurie's clothes or a murder weapon having ever been produced. The injuries sustained by Edwin Rose were consistent with those of a severe accident, and there were no signs of intentional assault. Alex Geddes of Peterhead Prison Museum is one of many people who are left sceptical by the case. He stated that, quote, "Based mainly on circumstantial evidence, and with a frenzy of media coverage during the trial, it makes me wonder whether this was trial by public opinion rather than fact. John Laurie would die in prison in 1930, having served 40 years of his sentence, which to this day remains the longest period of incarceration in Scottish criminal history.